Hi, welcome to this week's episode of our weekly podcast series called Highlights. I'm Salvador, the owner and founder of Detailers Growth. We are an advertising agency that specializes in ceramic coating ads, primarily on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey everyone, Dan here. I'm the ad specialist. As the title says, I make sure that the ads are going smoothly, the quality is good, and just in a few words, basically, I want to make sure that your phone is ringing and you get those leads in.
I'm Gloria. I'm one of the three client success managers. Basically, my job is to make sure that everything runs smoothly between you and your campaign. And I'm your first point of contact regarding any troubleshooting you have or any doubts or questions that you have regarding your campaign.
Hey, this is Anthony, another client success manager, 2 out of the 3. And I am also up to date on your campaigns, whether that's troubleshooting your CRM or just looking through new videos that you have. I'm also your first point of contact, and we are very happy to help you.
Hi, I'm Alejandra. I'm another of the success manager on the team. I work with the Cosmore Coding clients, and I'm here to answer all of your questions about the course.
Nice. So, if you're new here, each week we kind of share the secrets that our top clients are doing, what's working for them, and kind of breaking it down in detail so you can apply it to your own business. So, without further ado, grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's jump right in. Today's topic, we're going to talk about how to deal with price shoppers. It's pretty inevitable in life in general. When you own a business, you're going to deal with price shoppers. So, that's the first thing I would kind of note there. But more importantly, you can turn a lot of those price shoppers into clients if you structure the conversation the right way. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into. So, we're hoping to do this as part one, where we kind of talk at a high level, kind of give you context. And then hopefully, we have another part two where we break it down on a more tactical level. So, I think the first thing to know when it comes to dealing with price shoppers is that you're going to have to structure the conversation the right way. So, just to kind of give you an overview of our sales process, the first thing you're going to want to do is build rapport with them. Because once you build rapport, you're able to kind of lower their guard, build some trust, and get them started that way. So, first thing with dealing with price shoppers is kind of understanding how to deal with them in general. So, one thing I would also note is that when you're selling ceramic coatings, you're going to have a lower closing rate due to the high ticket price of a ceramic coating compared to a detail, a window tint, a wash and wax. You're going to naturally close less people, but with a good sales process, good marketing, you're going to be able to sell more revenue, more coating packages in general. And another thing that I want to note is that the sales cycle is also going to be a little bit longer than what you might be used to if you're coming from the detailing world. With detailing, the general public is they're familiar with what they're buying. They kind of have a good understanding of what to expect with pricing. But when you get into the world of coatings, it's a whole different ball game because
Yep.
you have to consider the different products, the different packages, your market, if you're advertising. All of these will affect how you can price your ceramic coating packages. I just kind of want to preface with those two things as we dive in. So now that we have a basic understanding of how to deal with price shoppers, what to expect when dealing with price shoppers, Claudia, can you tell me about how to effectively deal and engage with price shoppers?
So something similar like Sal said, basically it's gonna be super hard because it's a high ticket service, right?
Yep.
And you wanna make sure that you educate that price shopper on why that ticket is so high. So basically the first thing that they wanna have in mind is the price. So what you need to avoid
Yes.
at all costs is don't say the price right away. Okay, you just need to
Yes.
educate them like, yes, we do this, we do these steps, we use these products, we have like 10 years in experience. So you want to make
Yeah.
sure to set that expectation there and then set the price. Because basically, if you're giving them the price, you're just telling them what they want. And you want to convert that price shopper to a booked job. That's the goal at the end of the day. So you want to make
Yep.
sure that you walk that lead through all the process as you would usually do it with a normal client. And another thing that you can do when it comes to the conversation with the client, that building rapport part, like Sal said, is using questions. Like try to get to know them, get to know what they want to do the coding, do the service, and just make sure that you say something like, hey, before we give you a price, I need to know why do you want to do this. So yes, basically this is how you can engage with them.
Yeah. So, real quick though, I want to frame this by saying that the number one thing in their minds, in any lead's mind, when they're contacting you, whether it's through SEO, through your website, through Google Ads, through Facebook ads, the number one thing that somebody has in mind when they contact you is price. So just to add on to what Claudia said, you don't want to give them price right away, because if you give them price right away, you're kind of scratching that itch and now there's no reason to continue that conversation. But if you ask a couple basic questions in the front, in the beginning, you're going to get a better idea of exactly which package is best suited for them. And now you can kind of ease into that conversation. So, Claudia, what would be some questions to ask when trying to get somebody to slow down and not think about just price?
Those questions are: what do you want your vehicle ceramic coated, and when do you want this done, so you can kind of have like a time frame. Because if they're not able, and we have talked about this before, if they're not able to give you like a time frame or when they want to get that done, then you know that they're just price shopping. They don't want to actually get something done as soon as possible. And basically, you want to ask those questions, just move on with the conversation in order to gather the most information possible. And with this engagement in mind, there are also some strategies that you can do when it comes for this sales process.
Yes, and one of those pricing strategies that we can use is discounts. So discounts are a way to grab that attention from that potential lead. Oh, they're offering a $200 discount. $200 is a good starting point, and you would adjust your prices accordingly. So you wouldn't be actually be giving that $200 discount. Just something again that grabs your attention, but it also makes the customers and the potential leads feel like you are doing them a favor. It's something psychological and it works. And something else that you could do is run like a current promotion. If a lead calls you asking about that discount, be like, yes, we're running a current promotion that's offering $200 off, but it is only available for X amount of time. It could be 2 days. And like Claudia said, put a time limit on it, because if you give that client an option for it to be over a long period of time, it's not going to create that urgency to get that booking with you. So again, add a discount and put a timeline on that discount. And we also see that this works very well in the educational content side of things. So, Radu, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so as Anthony said, offers are great, but there are instances in which price might not be the issue. So if people feel that they get a lot of value for the money, they might maybe even end up paying a bit more because they know that the value is there. So this is where I would say educational aspect comes in. So if you can make specific educational videos where you can let them know about the advantages of ceramic coating, all the steps involved, the benefits, they'll know exactly why it's worth it paying X amount for 1 or 2 years. So then they might end up paying more. You can upsell them. So this is why content is king. Since it's an ad, it's quite simple to think that that specific video plays in a big role. So plus with educational type content, you can also answer quite a lot of questions before you even jump on a phone call with someone. So common client questions, you might get rid of those simply by making one video that will save you maybe hours at the end of the year.
Yes, a lot of headache.
So
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
So I want to jump in here real quick, Radu, to kind of expand on what you were talking about and kind of recap what Anthony said as well, because I think it fits nicely. The reason why you want to give a discount is because when somebody's coming to you and they want a number, they want the best number. They're thinking about pricing alone, right? But there's a lot more that goes into you actually closing that client. So you can't just be the lowest in town and, you know, give the highest quality of work. We want to showcase that. We want to mention that, hey, it's worth them, it's worth you as a lead paying a premium because we have a great reputation. We've been in business for 10, 15 years. We have 5-star rating on Google, Facebook, Yelp. So you want to showcase these things as well. I would mention it kind of like as an offhanded comment, because that's what's going to give them that confidence to go with you versus somebody who is cheaper, who has a lower price. And then giving a discount is a great way to frame that as well, because if you can frame it the right way, where you say, hey, John, normally our price is $1,700, but we're actually running this promotion on Facebook, which is how you found out about us, where you get $200 off if you can book within the next 7 days. So if you frame it something like that, now you're giving people a reason to schedule and give you a deposit versus just saying, hey, our price is $1,700. We'll give you a $200 discount. You know, contact us when you're ready to get your vehicle ceramic coated. And people will wait. We see this all the time, typically in the fall and winter months. You get somebody who's interested in ceramic coating, they're early on in the research, but if they don't have a deadline or they don't have a reason to schedule now versus waiting until springtime or summertime, they will. And a lot of the times it's going to be too late because you're going to have to keep them in your CRM. You're going to have to follow up with them versus saying, hey, if you can schedule within the next 7 days, we can actually honor that $200 discount. It only applies to people who inquire and book within 7 days. So you can kind of word it like that to help somebody really see the urgency and the value in getting their car coated now rather than having to wait a couple months or really whenever they think about it and get to it. Because by then, their vehicle is not going to be in the same condition it is today. And I would definitely highlight that fact that, hey, between now and then, a lot can happen to your unprotected vehicle. You could have some swirl marks, you can have light scratches, rock chips if you're doing PPF. So there's a lot of ways to get people to paint that picture mentally to where it makes sense for them to pull the trigger now. No matter what time of year it is, wintertime, fall, spring, summer, the idea is there that you want to give somebody a deadline. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to Alejandra.
Yes. And to wrap up our discussion, let's gonna summarize everything that all of you guys said, and let's gonna start with the strategies. Salvador and Claudia first mentioned it. You have to slow down the client, okay, because they are going to be looking only for price. So you have to slow down, asking them the right questions and building rapport with them. Also, you have to show the value of your work. It's not just about selling something, it's more about showing the value that you are providing them. And you have to be really, really explanative. You have to give everything that they need for they to take a decision. Also, you can make other strategies like giving discounts, as Anthony said, or as Radu also said. You have to teach the client, and with that, with the offers too, you really can convert a price shopper into a client. You have to make a really good engagement with them for them to trust you and for them to feel like they are finding a really good product and a really good service.
Yeah. And last thought here, just to kind of close things out. One thing that leads want is they want to know that they made the right decision. I think fundamentally that's the most important thing, whether they decide to go with you or not. If you can kind of stack these things on top of each other, that will become very obvious to the client to where you're not having to keep discounting and keep discounting. You don't even have to discount per se. You could do an added bundle so you can increase the ticket size that somebody does when they call you. So I think a good example of this is somebody contacts you for ceramic coating, but they don't have their vehicle tinted. So now you can do pricing where you bundle window tint and a ceramic coating and give them a price with a deadline as well. So with that being said, again, this is part one where we're kind of giving you guys context, kind of walking you or giving you a 30,000 foot view of how to tackle this. But in part two, we'll go into this in a more tactical way. And we're actually going to do this with one of our clients' sales reps. So this is somebody who is not only talking with leads every day, but is dealing with price shoppers every single day, day in and day out. So I think it'd be good to see exactly what they say, how they say it, when they say it, how they give discounts, how they get deposits, how they schedule
Yeah.
people in. We get to pick their brain, and that's exactly what we're going to do in part two. So we'll see you guys in part two. Bye-bye.
Bye.